But first off, we've got an hour together, so I'm going to be on between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock every single day. The purpose for me being on at a specific time is so that everybody can get used to the fact that at that time, they can either schedule it in their diary, and that is the time that I will be showing up. So when I show up, we will be doing things like answering questions, discussing the insights from the previous worksheets that have gone out. You will have noticed that by now you will have received your first email, which was a welcome email, as well as your link to the website that's hosting the content. I have removed the video that was on that specific website. And the reason I've removed it is because it's 53 minutes long. And I promised everybody that they would be able to do this within 15 to 20 minutes. And it just seems like the content is so rich and there is so much that I just want to switch off here as well. There is just so much that I couldn't fit it in less than 53 minutes. So I'm trying to nail it down and narrow it down so that we can be succinct and just get the information out that you need for this specific challenge. Obviously, you know, the way I'm going, I'm ending up turning it into a program, which is not really my intention. I want it to be a challenge, something that you can do easily and effectively, because the ultimate goal of this specific challenge is to get you to become more client attractive by uncovering your identity, by uncovering who you need to be as a person, you know, and to give you the courage to be you. Because you know what, there is nothing sexier than you being you. Believe me, I promise you, that is the truth. You know, you may in your mind immediately come up with a whole lot of things and feel resistance, but let me tell you, once we've gone through the notes that I have here as well, you'll realize that unless you can be true to you, unless you can be 100% yourself, you're going to find it very difficult in the online world to market yourself and to maintain the commitment, the ongoing momentum of trying to be something that you're not, or somebody who you're not. Okay, so if you have questions, what I want you to do is in the comment box below this video, you'll have an opportunity to raise your questions and share any insights that you have as well. I'll be scrolling through them and I'll answer them as I go. But the intention of this is really just to give you the insight so we can discuss identity, which is day number one's topic. Okay, so the reason you've joined this Courage to Be You is because obviously you're an impact-driven entrepreneur. Now, for me, an impact-driven entrepreneur means somebody who wants to make a difference, not just in their own lives or in the lives of their family, but in the lives of other people as well. You want to make an impact in the world. You want to influence people, and you want to be able to generate an income from that as well. And this is why you're here, because you're a businesswoman. You are female entrepreneurs who want to make a difference through your products and your services. But how can you do that if you're not earning, you know, if you're not being true to you? How can you do that if you can't attract your clients? So this exercise, the next 10 days, we will be going through things that will get you to look at who you are, who you're being, and we'll touch on various things. Now, you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. And these are just suggestions. I, in my own personal life, have used many of these activities that I'm sharing with you to get me to where I am today. So, well, who am I? Well, for those of you who don't really know me, okay, I'm Brenda Tsiaousis, and I, in 2009, packed up my whole entire family, left South Africa, and moved to Australia. It was one of the best decisions that I've made in my whole entire life, but it was also one of the most challenging. And why do I say that? Because when I left South Africa, I left behind everything that I knew that had created and formed me as I was right then, okay? My identity, my fancy house, my cars, my amazingly glamorous corporate job, my status and title that I had in the, you know, in the city that I lived in, my house, my maids, my gardeners, my cars, my, you know, my private schools, everything. Arriving in Australia for the first year was exciting. I really loved being here, but I also knew one thing. I didn't want to go back to my corporate, okay? Corporate was just something where I never really felt like I belonged. I love corporate, but I just didn't want to go back into it. I felt like I had to be a fake all the time. I pretended to be somebody who I wasn't. in my corporate career. And I know many of you, if you've been in corporate, you can probably relate to it. You have to come across as being really and truly street smart and tough to be able to make it in corporate sometimes. Well, arriving here a year later, something in me just clicked. And one morning I woke up, looked at myself in the mirror, and my first question was, who the hell are you? You know what? That scared me because I didn't have the answer. I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought to myself, I don't know. Deep down at my core, I don't know who I am. I didn't know what I stood for. My whole identity had been wrapped in what I had created for me over my 40-something years of my life. And so I decided then and there that I was going to take things into my own hands and I was going to do something about it. I was going to unveil and pull apart the pieces of the onion bit by bit until I got to the root of who I was, my identity. And it was a big, long journey. I did my coaching, formalized my coaching career, started my business in January 2011, completed my coaching certification, diploma, advanced prac, NLP, emotional intelligence, everything that I could do to make me become the person that I thought I was supposed to be. And I'll get to that. Perfect. Right. Any issues that you may be having with the attachments or the emails, please let me know as well, and I'll go and have a look. The attachment won't be in the email, but it will be on the website. You'll just need to click on it and it'll open up in a different screen for you to download. I'll just go and check to see that everything is linked again. Okay, so back to this. Now, when I started my business, all right, I took on virtually anything and everybody's persona. And that's the truth. And I think we all do this at some stage. We see some copy which really resonates with us and we think that's so similar to my story. I'm going to just use bits and pieces of it. And I did. But you know what? When people come to your website and they read what you put out there and suddenly they meet you, they realize there's this disconnect, okay? And that is because you're not reflecting your true self in your web copy, on your posts in Facebook, on your advertisements, in your marketing material. You're not being you. Now, why would you want to be anybody else? I asked myself that 1,000 times. Why would I want to be anybody else? Purely for the simple reason that I didn't have the confidence to be myself at that stage. I didn't think I was good enough, okay? And many women go through this whole thing. Now, the 3 points that we're going to be covering in today, as well as identity, is the 3 keys to help you to become a very successful female entrepreneur online. And these 3 keys are the thing that make you most client attractive. Now, what is that? Well, that is clarity, certainty, and focus. And the reason I've chosen these 3 things is because without clarity, okay, you have no idea where you're going. You don't know who you are. You don't know what direction you're going in. You have no idea what you want or how even to deliver those things to the people who want them from you. So let's look at clarity a little bit more, okay? And then we'll relate that back to your identity. So clarity is not just clarity in who you are, but clarity is in who are your clients. Do you know who your ideal client is? Because how can you attract your ideal client if you actually don't quite know who you are? All right. Your client will be attracted to the persona that you're putting outside, that you're putting out there. But fact is, when you get that person in front of you and you start working together, what's going to happen is you're going to find that there's a mismatch or a disconnect because you've put something that you're not out into the marketplace. That new client of yours has purchased into that persona, that identity, that person who you've put out there. Yet when they work with you, they may find that you're an entirely different person. Now, we don't want that happening for you at all, because after all, when we get a client, we want the client to stick. It's easier to constantly upsell an existing client than what it is to go and market and get a new client. You've heard of that before, haven't you? Good. Okay, so let's keep on moving on. So clarity is clarity of knowing who you are as the person at your core. Also clarity of who your client is. Clarity on the direction that you're moving in. So what is the business model that you've chosen? Do you know which strategies you're going to be using to put that out there as well? Get clear on all of these things, okay? Clarity, definitely the first step. Need to get clear on who your client is, what you're offering, what is the problem you can solve. But before you can do any of that, we start with you. So the activity in the workbook that I've given you, all right, is an activity that helps you to uncover parts of your identity. And this is accumulative. Every single day we'll be doing something that's going to give you a deeper revelation of who you are as a person, okay? Now, your identity really defines who you are. It defines on how you will be putting yourself out there in the marketplace, okay? And we can take on all of these dynamic divas or personas if we want to, if that's what your client or if that's who you are. I would say don't try being somebody who you're not. Be you all the time, okay? Takes up less energy. It is so tiring trying to be somebody else. I've been there and I've done that. You know, as I've mentioned before, this program was created because I went through the process of uncovering and redefining my own identity. And yes, it did take me a very long time. There were times where I felt like I wanted to rush the process all the time and just make things happen. But you know what? There is a timing for everything. Everything in the world has a season, and there are seasons that you need to go through in your life to get you to become the best person that you can be. All right. And one of the things is working on your identity. You don't want to rush it because you're important. You were created on purpose for a purpose. I have no doubt in my mind that you are a unique human being and that there is nobody else like you in this world. So when you are able to tap into that uniqueness, those things that make you you, your quirkiness, your seriousness, your funny side, your synchronicities, all of those things, that's what makes you you. And that's also what makes you extremely attractive. Believe it or not, I'm not talking about physical beauty. I'm talking about heart beauty. Now, when you identify these things in you and you start to believe these amazing, incredible qualities that you have been gifted to you, and you can then share those gifts with the world, that makes you client attractive. That makes you, our second key to success, certain. All right, and certainty equates to confidence. Okay, when you are confident about who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for, and you know with certainty right down here, in your core, okay, who you are, nothing can shake you. You become unshakable, immovable, unstoppable. Yes, you become the giant slayer of the online world. How incredibly amazing is that? All right. So I know you want this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been, signed up for this program. I know that you want the tools and the tips and the strategies to be able to grow your business effectively, not just for yourself, but for your family as well, and for the other people that you can help. And I know you want clients who are treasures, clients who value you, clients who love what you can offer them. And you want to do this in your strength. You want to do this using the gifts and the skills and the talents and the experiences that make you you, all right? Because you can only teach something from something that you know really well. You know, we can go and read as many books as possible and we can go and share that information, but it doesn't make you the expert in anything, all right? What makes you the expert is your life experience, and then using that life experience, taking the process that you could have worked through as well, and then sharing that with somebody as well. Hence this program, okay? So, all right, let me see what else here. The third thing, so certainty, all right, certainty not just as in confidence, but certainty in what promise are you delivering to your clients? Can you deliver on that promise? Okay, we need to be certain of this, all right, because you can't just go out there, put stuff there, and then not deliver. You need to be certain that you can deliver it. Certain that your program, service, business, whatever it is, can actually solve the problem that your clients have. So that goes back to clarity. How do you know what your clients are struggling with? You need to understand your client. You need to have clarity around that. Okay. Certainty, okay, helps you to be more confident in who you are and what you deliver and who you attract, right? So that is that second key. The third key to establishing a very strong identity and making sure that you are very, very clear on, putting yourself out there in the marketplace and attracting your ideal clients is focus. Okay, so I know that that's difficult. For me, it is too, because I love Facebook. And I had the same conversation this morning with my younger daughters about being so focused on technology that we actually lose sight of what's going on around us. All right. We also get distracted very easily about the next, with the next bright, shiny object. And that causes overwhelm. It causes information obesity. It causes us to feel like, oh, I can't do this. This is just too much, okay? Because we have got so much thrown at us all the time. We look and see what's going through our news feeds, and that overwhelms us even more. We feel like we've got to be at a certain place at a certain time, and if I don't get there on time, I'm a failure. But you're not, because your journey is your journey, okay? It's nobody else's. So you need to remain focused. Okay, you need to have a maniacal focus on the thing that you're doing currently. Okay, without getting distracted by the next opt-in or the next bright and shiny thing or what anybody else is doing. You don't want to compare yourself to others. You don't even want to look and see where they are in their journey, because the most important thing in your business is you. Okay, you are the most important asset in your business. Now, when you start getting this, okay, and you start realizing that you've got to have clarity, you've got to be certain, and you've got to be accountable to you, focused every single day to get your stuff out. It doesn't matter how long that journey takes, because it will happen in time, with the right timing for you, okay? And when the timing is right, it will feel as if those doors just start to open. It will almost be an energetic shift that takes place, literally takes place. Things will start happening. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, I've been doing this for the past 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is, and things still aren't happening. Do you know what? I want to say, don't worry about it, because things will happen at their given time. For everything, there is a season. The bamboo shoot takes 5 years to grow. For 5 years, the planter plants that bamboo shoot seed, and it takes for a very long time to grow. Every year he comes along and he waters it, never once seeing any evidence that anything is growing underneath the ground. Not once. He could become disillusioned. He could stop watering and nurturing it. He could stop fertilizing it. He could walk away from it. He could let the seed dry out. He could uproot the seed and throw it away. But you know what? He chooses not to. What he chooses to do is to believe that that seed knows who it is at its core, okay? Because it's true. You plant a watermelon, an apple doesn't grow. A watermelon does. You plant a bamboo shoot, okay? A eucalyptus tree doesn't grow. A bamboo does. So he believes without a doubt, okay, that if he just continues to do what he is destined to do, or what he is called to do at that moment, okay, and that is to water and nurture that seed, that is you. So this is metaphorical. That is you nurturing and taking care of what's inside of you, that gift, that desire, that dream that's inside of you. And you take one small little step daily. Ultimately, you will see the bamboo shoot start to sprout a root. And that's exactly what happened to him. After 5 years of constant watering and seeing nothing, okay, he still believed that there was some hope there. And one morning arrived at the bamboo station, looked down, and the seed had sprouted this big only. But in the next 6 weeks, that bamboo grew more than 90 feet up into the air. That's in 6 weeks. This is what we call an and suddenly moment. And that's exactly what will happen to you. When you dig down and you start uncovering that identity, and you water it and you nurture it and you spend time getting your belief system up, removing all of those layers that don't serve you anymore in any case, and you give that seed, that identity of yours, good nurturing fertilizer, in due time, that little seed is going to sprout the most beautiful flower. Yes, it's going to bloom. And that is called an and suddenly. And suddenly things will happen. And suddenly clients will be attracted to you. And suddenly your business will start to flourish. And suddenly your programs and services will start, being created, and suddenly things will change. Do you believe me? Do you believe me? I want you to so badly, because I can't tell you enough how this has happened in my own entire life. But it all comes down to knowing who you are at your core. All right. So the little exercise book that I attached to the website, which you can go and download, and I believe there could possibly be a little link that's broken in it. I'll go and check it as soon as I hop off here. Download the workbook, because this is what we're going to do next. Okay. For you to uncover your identity, it may mean that you need to go and look back at the past. Now, life is lived in forward motion, but it is understood backward. Strange, isn't it? Okay. For us to know who we are, that's fantastic, Gloria. For us to know who we are, we need to look back and see where we've come from. What's happened in our past. Now, often our identity is formed by what other people say about us, okay? We take on names and personas, and we even give them to ourselves, okay? That creates and form our identity. They may be given to you by people like your mum, your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your peers, your co-workers, your your boss even. I know that my dad used to call me Flossie. Flossie, in my terminology, meant something really bad. Really, really, really bad, I promise. And that's it. And you know what? I took that to heart. And so in my mind, that formed part of my identity. I was also told by my I think it was my grade 3 teacher, okay, Mrs. Mail. I can remember to this day. She used to call me a chatterbox all the time. Now, perhaps I could have been, but you know what? I added meaning to that word, and I made it mean something else in my mind. Okay, on my report, I would get, Brenda is such a chatterbox. Brenda should speak less. Brenda disrupts others, okay, because she doesn't stop talking. All right. As I grew up, that was imposed on me, I took on as part of my identity, and I let it stop me from being the best me that I could be for a very long time in my life. And I don't want that to happen to you. Okay, so we're going to be looking at these things that have gone on in our lives as well. The identity and the names that people have perhaps given us, and the names that you've called yourself. You may associate with mum. You may associate with stepmom. You may associate with wife, with friend, with sister, with colleague, or whatever it is. These are identities that we take on for ourselves as well. And in certain instances, we act them out. But we're looking at the true you today. We're looking at that identity that is unique to you. Because when we uncover that identity, we're going to be using that story, okay, in everything that we do to attract our clients. Because when you uncover that story, okay, I can guarantee you that in that story, your clients, there'll be clients out there, okay, that will relate to exactly your experiences, that will relate to your story, okay, and they will find you relatable. When that happens, there's a connection. All right, there is a connection, and that means that clients start noticing you because why? They have some sort of affiliation towards you. Okay. So how we're going to do this is in the workbook, I've given ample space as well, is you're going to take a moment and you're going to divide your age by the amount, by 10. Okay, so if you're 50, you'll divide it by 10 and you'll get 5 different chapters. Okay, 5 segments of your life. I'm 48, so I have 4 segments of my life plus the one that I'm currently in. This is my present life, okay? Then you're going to list them. So in each page, I've given you a beautiful little page. It has a line in the middle of the page, okay, a top half and a bottom half. You're going to put your name on the top, and you're going to say this is 0 to 10 years. On the second page, you're going to write 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 on each separate page. Then you're going to go and find a quiet space, and you're just going to look at that specific time period of your life, okay? 0 to 10. What happened? Who were you with? Okay? What events took place? What experiences did you go through? Could it have happened that your mom and dad got divorced at that stage? Perhaps you broke a leg. Maybe you had a big fallout with a family member. Whatever it is for you, maybe somebody close to you died. I know for me, at the age of 5, my grandfather died. Okay, so that was a huge impactful moment, which I never knew affected my life at all. But let me tell you how much it did affect my life. During the age of 0 and 10, this moment was a significant moment in my life. My grandmother and my father, very, very strict people, okay? They're from British descent. And what had happened was when my grandfather died, knowing how much I loved him, they gave me the opportunity to attend the funeral. Now, as a little girl, I'd never been to a funeral before. I had no experience or no frame of reference at all about how a funeral is. All I knew is that I loved my granddad and I was very sad that he died. Ending up in church that day, I had my grandmother on my one side and my dad on my other side, and I felt terribly emotional. I felt like I wanted to cry. No, actually, I just wanted to burst into tears and sob my heart out, to tell you the truth. I had a tennis ball stuck in my throat, so big that I felt like I couldn't swallow. I felt like my ears had constricted. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt so upset that you feel like you've got a golf ball stuck in your throat and you just can't get it down? Well, that's how I felt that day, okay? But looking up at my grandmother and looking up at my father, they were the deadpan, straight faces, poker faces, with no emotion showing on their face at all. Right then and there, okay, I realized that I wanted to fit in, and I wanted that acknowledgement and that recognition from my grandmother and my father to say, you're a big girl right now. So what did I do? Okay, I swallowed the lump, okay, and I put on a poker face and I pretended to be strong at that stage. I didn't cry at all. And in my mind, I formed the belief in it that only the weak cry. Okay, that I can never show my vulnerability, that I always need to be strong. I need to fight my own battles. I need to be independent. I need to be tough and single-minded. That is the belief that I carried around with me for almost 40 years of my life. So now you can see how valuable this exercise is. By sitting and doing this exercise, you can find these trigger points and these events, okay, that you can highlight for yourself. And then I'm going to show you and teach you later on in the 10-day program exactly how we're going to use some of those, okay, in your story to create that likability and that relatability. We're not going to be anybody you're not. We're going to take only the truth from you, okay? So on the top part of the page, you're going to write down all the things that were good things, glory days, okay, things that made you feel fantastic, happy, joyful, alive, beautiful, whatever it was during those 10-year periods, you're going to write above the line, okay? Then below the line are all the oh so ugly things, the things that you wish didn't happen, the traumatic experiences, the dungeon days, the days where you felt like perhaps things weren't so good, the things that left a bad taste in your mouth, okay? Write them down too, because from those things there are lessons and there are gifts. And when we can uncover that lesson and that gift, we can use that to help other people in their lives as well. So remember, it's not just about us. It's about our beautiful audience out there waiting for us to connect with them on a personal level. And this is what we're doing currently. We're uncovering that so we can be client attractive, okay? So once you've gone through that and you've listed them all, what I want you to do next then is to see in each section, okay, whether there is any theme going through. So from the ages of 0 to 10 or 10 to 20, what theme was going through that, okay? Can you uncover any specific belief, any pattern, any golden thread that goes through that specific 10 years? Because when you can pull through that golden thread, we can actually give it a name. So it may be, for example, let's just say my last 10 years, okay, so the 10 years that I'm in right now, if I look at my 10 years, I have entitled this 10 years, Finding Freedom. Because this is me, finding freedom. Finding myself has given me utmost freedom. Absolutely. The freedom to be me. You know, from finding that freedom and from finding my identity, my certainty, and let me tell you, my identity is definitely rooted in who I am as a spiritual being, okay? So I'm a Christian woman. I'm a Christian businesswoman. So for me, everything, my whole business, my whole life, okay, the foundation that I base everything on is my spirituality, my faith. Without my faith, okay, you can have that theme. It's yours to take. Without my faith, okay, I feel like I have no identity. My identity is rooted in the Creator who created me, okay? That is it. I live every single day to do things for others, to help others, and I'm strong in my identity. Oh, sorry, I lost connection. I'm glad I'm back again. So give just those 2 moments. Okay. Sorry about that. My internet seems to be very glitchy as well, which is awful. Okay, there we go. Okay, so where does your certainty come from? All right, who are you at your core? As I've mentioned before, for me, it's my spirituality. It's very important to me. I've tried my best not to bring my spirituality into my business. You know what? It doesn't work. I am who I am. I can't help it. I just love what I do, and I love how I can use my faith to grow my business, because that is how I do grow my business many a time. Without that, I believe that my identity wouldn't be complete. So you may have something that helps you to identify your identity, or to ground you in your identity. It may be whatever it is for you, okay? Okay, so you'll find that theme. Now you're going to give each chapter, each 10 years, you're going to give them a name, okay, so that you can identify this theme. Now, once that is done, all right, you're going to then look and you're going to find 10 connection points. So you're going to look through all the little things that have happened, all the little stories, okay. Each story you're going to have identified, was it a good thing that happened in my life? Did I feel good about this? Or was it a bad thing that happened in my life? Okay, sometimes it could be both. Sometimes it could be bad, but you know what? Later in life, you think about it again, and there's a good thing that's come from it. Okay, so it could have good and bad attached to it, which often gives us this conflicting message because we don't quite know how to handle that then. But once you've done that, okay, you're going to go and look through the ones that were, the sun, sorry. You're going to go and have a look through your these things, and you're going to look for 10 connection points, 10 things that you think, all right, you can utilize in a story that will help you to become relatable to your clients, or that your clients potentially could struggle with too. Okay, so for example, one of them for me is I've been through a divorce. Okay, so that would make me this is annoying, sorry. That would make me, be able to connect with women. If I was selling a divorce program or a divorce product or a relationship program, I would be able to speak from the expertise of, I know what it's like to go through a divorce. I know what happens in our children. I know what happens to you as a person. I know, what happens to go on the rebound and all of that stuff. So that would be something that I would use if I was a relationship coach, for example. I've also lost somebody very, very dear to me. So I know what it's like to grieve. So if I was looking at helping people to go through a grief process, transition, well, that would help me to be able to draw from that experience. Okay, I could use that. I've also lost a baby. And so, what would happen is I can relate to those mums who perhaps have lost babies as well. And if I had to tell my story, people would connect with me. They would connect with my heart, because you know what? We're coming from that same place of understanding. Does that make sense? So you would look for 10 points of connectivity that you can use, okay? It is nice to see the sun. The sun is shining tomorrow, yes. So that is the points that you'll be using for your connectivity, okay, with your ideal clients. I hope this all makes sense. All right, if it doesn't, leave a question behind in any case, and I will get to it. But we're covering off identity, and this is there. Now, there is something, I left a poem for you as well to download. It's a downloadable bit, and I actually just want to go right here for a second. If you give me a moment, let me go there. I love what I'm doing, by the way, and I love that you're here. I just need you to know that. And I'm very grateful to have you here. So there we go. Let me just open this up. And now that I'm on that page, I can actually see whether each link works as well, and test it myself where I'm up here. I have worked last night until after 10 o'clock. I was so excited to start this, and just felt like this is when you know that you're doing something that you're passionate about. That is, it doesn't feel like work anymore. It becomes part of your call, becomes part of your gifting. And so your identity will have that in it as well. All right, so there we go. Let me just view this page. Let's see what's going on here. And then I can tell you when everything is working or not. And I don't need to go and check it a little bit later. So if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comment box below. If any insights come up while you are busy working through these activities, please share those insights as well. If things come up and you feel like this is bad and this is cathartic and you're not sure how to handle it, take a step backwards, okay? Just step back from the situation. Don't associate into it. Disassociate from it and look at it as if you're an onlooker looking at that event, okay? Because I know that sometimes when we go back to our past, we can call up these things that could have been very traumatic for us. I know that's what happened to me. So when I first did this exercise as well, there were many things that I looked at. And during my first, I think it was my second 10 years, so from the ages of 10 and 20, there was a feeling of abandonment. That was the theme that came through my second 10 years, okay? The feeling of abandonment, the feeling of rejection. And you know what? I was really very upset about it. I felt like I wanted to cry. And as a matter of fact, I did. Allow yourself to release that, okay? Allow yourself to cry and allow yourself to move through that. Remember, emotion is just data. All right, it just tells us what's happening right now in our body. What we can do is we can just look at that data, say, I wonder what triggered this right now. It could have been that event, okay? I wonder why it happened like that. And then let it go. Just see it as if it's on a wave, just going past you, that emotional feeling. Remember, our emotions normally just hang around for about 90 seconds or so. So you may feel sad or so for about 90 seconds. Once you let it go and you let it go off on that wave, you know, it will be past, then you can start working through that as well. But disassociate yourself so that you don't get too involved in the actual traumatic event if you do identify one. Okay, good. Now, this is a poem that I want to read to you. And this is one of my favorite poems. It's written by Jenny Williamson, and I've given it to you as a free gift. I've created a printable out of it. It is beautiful. It is stunning. I love it. Print it for yourself. Put it in your journal. Stick it on your wall. Remind yourself of who you are, okay? And I'm going to read it to you today. It's called The Courage to Be You. There are two me's inside of me, the one I am and the one I long to be. The one I am is familiar and true. She expects little of me. She seems somewhat late, yet dreams of more too. She seems somewhat less while wanting something more, but comfort surrounds her soul, keeping her safe to the core. Now the other me that lives inside of me is the opposite for sure. She plots and plans her escape from the same. She longs to do more, to see more, to be more, all the while using my name. The one me and the other were once the same child, but as time hurried onwards, I lost her somehow. I gradually began wanting others to see just a mirror, a reflection of themselves instead of me. I'm not aware when the thought first occurred, or when I recognized the truth, but slowly I heard. How did this happen or come to be? When did you become less, so much less than I designed you to be? At first I grew sad, experienced a terrible ache. I then began to ponder all that was at stake. Another thought surfaced as scary as the last. What if others needed me to be me? Then I'd better become me fast. A heavy sigh I let out as I began to pray. Lord, grant me the courage this very day to cease to be more of the same, and for me to become me and forever remain. I then asked a question of my father so true. What does she look like? That little girl I once knew. Ah, he said, in her I delight. Let me tell you her secrets and how to give her life. She's as beautiful as sunset, as an original of mine. Man's approval doesn't matter as she completes her design. She sings with the angels, dances only for my smile. She laughs with abandon, knowing she's here for a short while. What are you afraid of? My father asked of me. Don't you know by now your purpose to be? Lean close while I tell you, I created you only so that you would be the me that I designed you to be. Nothing more, my beloved one. Settling for less cannot be done. Take my hand and with courage soar to the dreams and the destiny I have in store. Safety and comfort are not yours to be, but a life fully alive so others can see that they too were created for a great destiny. Now, isn't that incredible? Each and every single one of these words, okay, I want to attribute to you. To you, the woman in this group. There are 40 of you in this group, okay? And each and every one of those has a purpose and a destiny to fulfill. When you uncover your true identity, and you will in the next 10 days or so as we work through this, okay, you will uncover your stories, you will uncover your lies, you will uncover your beliefs about yourself and your values. You will create your stories, you will record your stories, and you will use those to go out there and to be 100% authentically you, okay? Because there is no one else like you, okay? And through that, you will gain clarity, you will gain certainty, and you will be focused. And the clients who come to you will have come to you because what you have to offer is what they need and they want. So I hope that you have a brilliant and beautiful day today. Okay, I'm out to see a potential new client, also somebody that after I created this program just popped up on Facebook and said, just been to your website, left you a message, really feel inspired by you, and I want to see how we can actually work together in one of my high-end programs. So truth be told, when you are just you, okay, you become more attractive. Never doubt who you have been created to be. You need to believe it, because if you can't believe that you are unique, that if you are special, nobody else will too. It all starts with you. I know you're going to get this in the next 10 days. I know it's going to sink in and it's going to become heart knowledge, not just head knowledge. It might take time, but inevitably it always happens. And when that happens, you get the and suddenlies. Take care, my beautiful friends, okay? I loved having you here. This is a long video and it's going to be uploaded to this as well as the website. Any questions you have, any coaching you need to be done, this is the place to be. Remember, there are 4 beautiful gifts, 4 beautiful bonuses I'm giving away at the end of the period. If you stay engaged and you stay connected and committed to this, you will be going into that draw to get access to one-on-one coaching with me or to my 8-week Courage to Bloom in Business program, which really is the strategy as well as the mindset of how to establish a successful business online. Take care. Have a fantastic day.